Hello everybody, and happy 2016! Yeah, sorry this video is so late. Oh, also, in case you're wondering, I'm a gem now. Why? Well, whenever you notice something odd that doesn't make any sense whatsoever and cannot be explained when you're watching a Mad Munchkin video, Mary Sue did it.
Oh sure, just blame me.
So as punishment for turning me into a gem without asking permission, Mary Sue will now remain off screen for the remainder of this review.
This is like totally unfair.
Yeah, go cry me a river. Cue new intro! It seems like I'm going to be stuck like this for a while, but I guess it is kinda fitting.
Told you.
In this first episode of Mad Munchkin Blethers for 2016, I decided to take a look at a show that has become a surprise hit.
And a show that you stupidly ignored for 2 years in a row.
Shut up, Mary. Here are my thoughts on Steven Universe. Spoiler warning! I will warn you for spoilers! No spoilers on the Mad Munchkin Blethers show. And who has the code for this alarm? So anywho... Oh my goodness, it looks like it's going to be a little history bit. Steven Universe is an American animated television series created by Rebecca Sugar, best name in the world by the way, for Cartoon Network. It is the coming of age story of a young boy named Steven who grows up in the town of Beach City, living with 3 magical humanoid aliens, the Crystal Gems, Garnet, Amethyst and Pearl. Steven, who is half gem, goes on adventures and helps the gems protect the world from their own kind. Sugar developed the series while working as a storyboard artist on Adventure Time, and it premiered on November the 4th, 2013 as Cartoon Network's first series to be created by a woman.
No way.
Strong, independent woman! Let's agree to never do that again.
Yeah, okay.
The series has received critical acclaim, being praised for its art design, music, voice acting, and complex characterization, and science fiction world building. It was nominated for an Emmy Award and 2 Annie Awards.
That ends the educational part of the video.
Steven Universe is, at least to my knowledge, the most recent American animated series aimed at a younger audience to feature significant representation of queer themes, such as through the androgynous fusions Stevonnie and the relationship between the gems Ruby and Sapphire. This reflects the growing prominence of these themes in children's cartoons. Previous depictions were either subtextual or minimal, such as in the 2011 Adventure Time episode What Was Missing, or in the 2014 series Clarence. Or more explicit but unexplored, such as in the 2014 finale of Nickelodeon's The Legend of Korra.
You should totally do a review of The Legend of Korra, Maddie. Seriously, just do it, cause we all want to hear you talk about it.
That's how you all sound in my head. In Steven Universe, on the other hand, LGBT themes appear prominently in the first season. A notable emotional difference to Adventure Time is that while these series deal with their protagonist's transition to adulthood, Steven Universe was, at least in its first season, content to be enamored with the simplicity of childhood. Nonetheless, by the first season's end, Steven had slowly grown from a really annoying, obnoxious tagalong kid.
What? I'm a gem!
To being accepted as a crystal gem in his own right, a change brought about by increased insight and experience rather than merely age. Steven Universe himself is very, Marmite, for want of a better word. You either love him or hate him.
Ooh, my aching stomach.
Oh, Mr. Queasy!
It's killing me.
Steven! This place is your heritage. I want you to stay and help, but you've really got to take this seriously. Can you do that, Steven?
You got it, dude!
I hate him so much.
Kinda harsh, I know, but Steven was a character I found to be incredibly annoying rather than endearing, and was what put me off watching the show in the first place.
Serious, Steven? Activate!
Memo to me, maim you after my meeting.
Steven is a unique being with innate powers beyond that of both normal humans and gems. While only a child, Stephen has steadily grown from an escort of the crystal gems into an equal amongst their ranks thanks to his good-hearted nature and resourcefulness.
You're one of us, Stephen. We're not the crystal gems without you.
Though he is a part of a monumental legacy, Stephen is devoted to fulfilling his destiny as a protector of humanity, just like his mother was before him. Stephen is an optimistic, amicable, outgoing and carefree boy with a happy-go-lucky attitude which for a cynic like me can be very off-putting.
Oh my god, Maddie, I thought you liked this show. You're like totally slagging off the main character. Is it like you just hate everything, don't you?
I hate you.
Well, that was harsh.
But it's balanced out with the gems humouring him as well as keeping him focused.
Check it out. It's not exactly healthy, but it's in a stack. So I guess you could say it's a balanced breakfast?
Ugh. I have to admit though, I have to keep reminding myself that Stephen is a child and, you know, most children are incredibly annoying anyway, it's their nature, but at times they can also be incredibly adorable.
I guess I'm just too tough to cry.
Just today you were crying about snakes.
They don't have any arms.
Aww. Nope. You have a heart of ice. Heart of ice, Maddie. Don't fall for the cuteness. Nope. Cold as ice. Ice. He's not considered a fighter. He'd much rather reason with people than be confrontational.
Yeah!
Are the other ones with you?
Unfortunately, this could be seen as a weakness, making him socially oblivious and naive. Saying all this though, in spite of the fact I find him annoying, he is genuine, and that is admirable, I suppose. So, what exactly are the gems?
Heck if I know.
Yeah, just don't let Spike from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic near them. Okay, that's the inevitable MLP reference out of the way. Can we get on with the video now, please? Well, according to Sugar, the gems are all some version of herself. Neurotic, lazy, and decisive. She wanted the gems to reflect their personalities. Pearl's perfect smoothness, Amethyst's coarseness, and Garnet's air of mystery. Pearl is the most hard-headed of the group, giving off the illusion that she is superior. Amethyst takes her down a peg or two every now and then, however, and Garnet often has to remind her who is in fact in charge.
Unfortunately, we'll have to wait another 100 years for the sea shrine to reform because somebody couldn't keep their hands to themselves.
You have a lobster on your butt.
Huh? Of course.
Well, of course I can. I'm perfect. Womp 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 womp.
Pearl is a perfectionist with a sizable amount of knowledge on a plethora of topics and values organisation. Despite her perfectionism and occasional bragging though, Pearl suffers from low self-confidence and self-esteem and is in need of constant validation, which hides the fact she suffers from an inferiority complex. Pearl admits she often feels extremely weak and or useless when compared to others who appear better than her, going so far as to describe herself as ineffective on her own, always in need of a leader she can follow. Out of all the crystal gems, Pearl is the most poorly adjusted to life on Earth, being unaware of human social conventions and culture, such as jokes.
That was a bit unnecessary. Excuse me?
Arcades.
Welcome to a wonderland of funtronic inventions!
Humans find such fascinating ways to waste their time.
Oh, you mean like making review videos on animated TV shows and movies? Yeah, okay, thanks. Food.
You chew it into nasty mush, swallow that goop, then it comes out of you? What a completely horrid experience.
Oh, honey, you haven't tried haggis yet. And birthday parties.
I think this is why aging makes humans die.
Oh, of course, because humans die because they accept it as an inevitability. Seriously, Pearl, I thought you were smart. Amethyst is the most impulsive of the group and also the most carefree. This also makes her somewhat unstable, unpredictable, and at times even dangerous.
Garnet!
All right, Stephen.
All this carefree, impulsive, and unkept demeanour hides an insecurity of inadequacy and self-hatred.
I never asked for it to be this way. I never asked to be made.
Amethyst.
The circumstances of how Amethyst came to be is explained to some extent in the show, and it is implied that compared to other gems, she is somewhat weaker and considered a failed gem or, and I quote, an overcooked runt. For me, other than Steven, Amethyst is the most relatable of the three gems as her insecurities are the most human. Because of this, she finds it easier to relate to the humans in the show than the gems. Unlike Pearl, Amethyst has grown accustomed to life on Earth, and although she doesn't need to as a gem, she eats and sleeps. She is also the most in tune to emotions and can see the true motivation behind any action someone does, though she does have trouble processing her own emotions and issues, causing her to lash out at inappropriate times.
Oh, you are just so childish! Yeah, don't forget, reckless, vulgar, loudmouthed. That's just what makes me so awesome!
And now I express blatant favoritism.
Hello, this is Mum Universe. Yes, the children are playing swords. Sorry, playing with swords. They're bleeding. Oh no, they are dead. Don't call again. Sorry, I panicked.
Garnet to me is definitely the most interesting and the most controversial character of this show, and now that I think about it, any show that I have watched so far. Garnet is a fusion of two gems, Sapphire and Ruby, and she is quite literally the embodiment of a lesbian relationship.
Garnet is already in a relationship. She is a relationship.
Oh, but no, according to Cartoon Network UK, they're just good friends. It's so cute that networks think that we don't notice when they censor things. Though she is often the most pragmatic and straightforward of the crystal gems, Garnet tends to act on intuition rather than seriously analysing a situation, as often seen throughout the show. Though that doesn't mean she acts on impulse. Garnet is often the peacemaker of the crystal gems, especially when Pearl and Amethyst start arguing.
It doesn't matter what you two think. We're doing this for Steven!
Garnet is also the most encouraging of the crystal gems and is usually the first to give Steven the chance to try out his ideas. She is the gem that understands and recognises true love when she sees it and respects when it should be allowed to grow.
So, are you going to introduce us? Steven was so excited to meet you. Right, Steven?
Hey, don't mess with his funky flow.
She is perhaps the most nurturing towards Steven, though can be a little rough around the edges at times and does lack tact. She can be stoic and mysterious, but is also very passionate.
I'm on out. You know I can sense you.
Steven Bomb! Whoa! I got you.
You got me.
Oh, Steven, there's one more thing I have to mention.
What is it?
I love you. Bye.
See you later!
Yep, it's official. Garnet is best rock mum. In the series, the gems are obviously the most interesting characters, but the human characters in the show also have their secrets and insecurities. Might it be with the gems themselves, or just the side effects of living in a small town where everyone knows each other? Now, the concept of a strong female presence in a series about a boy is not a new thing, especially if you watch a lot of anime like I do, which this show is clearly influenced by in not just the narrative, but in the opening sequence, especially the one for season 2. But it is a rare thing to see in children's animation, especially in American animation. Though this show presents the dynamic of a mother-child instead of the male having to choose which female he loves the most, yeah, awkward. Steven is a character who sees the best in everyone and wants to help them overcome their insecurities. He sees the gems as mother figures, but at times they behave more like siblings to each other and to Steven. Sugar intended to tear down and play with the semiotics of gender in cartoons for children because she considered it absurd that shows for boys should be fundamentally different from those for girls, and I for one totally agree with her. Sugar said that Steven Universe was influenced by the anime series Future Boy Conan and Revolutionary Girl Utena, as well as by The Simpsons. Although this, for me, the show has a similar vibe to the Powerpuff Girls, having three main characters with special abilities, who just so happen to be female. However, it is theorized that the gems themselves are in fact genderless, and that they merely have the aesthetics of a female body. As an equally rewarding watch for adults and children, one of the stealthiest, smartest and most beautiful things on the air, it's attracted a quickly growing fanbase. Critics praised the breathtaking beauty, intriguing immersive environments and lovably goofy aesthetics of Steven Universe's art. They noted the distinct look imparted by the soft pastel backgrounds as well as the series' gorgeous, expressive, clean animation. For me though, the look of the show was very jarring and awkward, but never felt disjointed from the tone and mood the show is trying to convey.
We look awesome.
Steven Universe covers a broad range of themes, including a low-key slice-of-life portrayal of childhood, an examination of unconventional family dynamics, an intensive homage to anime, video games and other pop culture mainstays, as well as being a straightforward kids show about superheroes. The show is heavily influenced by the anime's Revolutionary Girl Utena and Sailor Moon, and they are visually and structurally Steven Universe's strongest influences, as reflected in its predominantly playful tone, interrupted by crushing drama at key moments, as well as in its glorification of the strengths of femininity, dilution of gender barriers, and emphasis on a wide variety of relationships between women aimed at a family audience. Other similarities are in the transformation scenes where the gems fuse together, a culmination of various styles of dance moves varying from graceful to very suggestive and to borderline violent. Other Japanese cultural icons the series reference include Neon Genesis Evangelion, Akira, Cowboy Bebop and Dragon Ball Z, as well as some Studio Ghibli movies. The series' masterful sense of pace allows the series to subtly integrate elements of foreshadowing and world building into individual scenes that almost imperceptibly make an overarching dramatic narrative emerge from what might appear to be Monster of the Week episodes, quote unquote. This series' conceit of telling a complex story from a child's perspective means that its exposition remains artfully restrained, growing in ambition with the series and Steven's character, which is really clever. Steven Universe's measured pace also allows its character to become more complex and interesting than most of the counterparts on prestige dramas. Each episode is barely 11 minutes long, so it's pretty impressive how it can keep the pace of such a deep and complex story in such a short runtime. This ingenious formula of world building grants the show some level of consistency. However, it does mean that you can't exactly leap into the show at any time to understand how the world works, regardless of it being first and foremost a casual slice of life show. However, the rules are well grounded, and more often than not, the show is faithful to its own logic. The series explores increasingly challenging facets of their relationships, such as the notion that Pearl may in part resent Steven because he is why his mother Rose no longer exists.
You have to tell me what's wrong.
Sometimes you even sound like her. Everything I ever did, I did for her. Now she's gone. But I'm still here. What would she think of me now?
Well, I think you're pretty great.
It's moments like this that just make this show feel like something special. As goofy as it looks, there is so much drama threaded through the show that is just portrayed in such a soft and touching way. It's just impossible to ignore this and just toss it aside as just some other typical cartoon show. Even the action showpieces are on occasion cast as philosophical arguments, such as when Estelle's song presents the climatic fight in Jailbreak as the contest between Garnet's loving relationship and Jasper's lone wolf attitude. The episode Jailbreak is the point where I completely fell in love with the show, and I'm sure many fans feel the exact same way. Similar to Adventure Time, Steven Universe has a dark undertone to juxtapose its goofy visuals. Despite how colourful and innocent it appears on the surface, things can unexpectedly spiral into very dark places. Delving into the uncanny valley with the sentient Frybo costume, watching the gems actually deal with the subject of death head on when they're helpless to stop Steven from aging, which is something they themselves do not do, therefore do not understand. Or the episode when Steven practices his shape-shifting powers and loses control, causing cats to sprout and engulf his entire body. Ugh, no, just no. As countless as these creepy moments are, the creepiest for me is actually when Amethyst morphs into Rose Quartz, Steven's mother, who gave up her physical form in order for him to exist. In essence, she gave up her existence for him. She died. Well, in theory anyway. So in a way, this moment when Amethyst transforms into Rose in front of Greg, it implies so much here that really... well, I can't really say because this is a kids show and, well, I think you can just put the pieces together really in what I'm trying to say. But yeah, the less said the better, I guess. but it is still pretty heartless and chilling. For me, it did take a while for Steven Universe to convince me it was a show that was to my tastes. This is more to do with the fact that the aesthetics of the show is really not my thing, and is not what I usually find appealing, not to mention the fact that it was advertised here in the UK as a show about an annoying little kid, and did not advertise much of the gems themselves. I regret not getting into this show sooner, as it has become one of my favourites of recent years. I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative. Yeah, this is a good look for me. Hey, thanks for watching this video, and before you go, don't forget to show your support by hitting that like button. That will help me out a lot. Or if you really liked this video, check out some of my other stuff I've done. And hey, go ahead and subscribe too if you want. You can also show your support by supporting me on Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, or you can also check out my DeviantArt page for my artworks, as well as find out how you can buy my artwork and even get some commissioned work too. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.